You followed every rule. You read every book. You never raised your voice, never said no, always validated the feelings, always got down to their level. And somehow, your kid is still melting down in the middle of a grocery store while strangers give you that look. So what went wrong? Because here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody in the parenting space wants to say out loud. Gentle parenting, the way most people are actually doing it, is not working. And today we are going to talk about exactly why. Let's go back a little bit first, because context matters here. For most of human history, parenting looked one way. You obeyed, you stayed quiet, and if you stepped out of line, there were immediate and often painful consequences. No explanation, no conversation, no acknowledgement of how you were feeling. Just compliance enforced through fear. And what did that produce? Generations of adults walking around with anxiety, deep-seated trauma, people-pleasing tendencies, and an inability to process their own emotions. Not exactly the recipe for raising a thriving human being. So when millennials started having kids, something shifted. They looked at their own upbringings and made a decision. I am not doing that to my child. And out of that very real, very valid pain came the gentle parenting movement. Built on empathy, emotional validation, explanation over punishment, and treating children like their inner lives actually matter. The intentions behind this could not be more genuine, but somewhere between the intention and the execution, things started going sideways for a lot of families. Here is the part people miss. Genuine, gentle parenting has never been about removing boundaries. That is the single biggest misconception driving most of the chaos you see online. Real gentle parenting is empathy plus structure. It is warmth with a backbone. It means you acknowledge your child's frustration while also making it crystal clear that certain behaviors are not acceptable, no matter what. The consequence still exists. It just comes with an explanation attached. What a lot of parents are actually doing is something different. It is closer to permissive parenting. And the distinction matters enormously. Permissive parenting is all warmth, zero structure. It is responding to every emotion but never actually enforcing a boundary because you are terrified of your child being upset with you, or terrified of triggering another meltdown, or just absolutely exhausted, and the path of least resistance feels like survival. The problem is that when children never experience a firm no, when they never learn that their actions have real consequences, they do not develop self-regulation. They grow up believing that how they feel in any given moment justifies however they choose to behave. And that is genuinely setting them up to struggle. Now here is where it gets more complicated, and honestly more human. Many parents attempting gentle parenting were not raised that way themselves. They are trying to implement a style they never once experienced as children. And when their kid pushes every button they have, something biological happens. Their nervous system does not respond to the philosophy they read about. It responds to what it learned in childhood. The default setting kicks in. Either they snap back into the authoritarian mode they were raised in, or they swing so far the opposite direction they give in entirely just to end the moment. Neither of those responses is the goal, but they are incredibly common, and they do not make someone a bad parent. They make someone human, trying to rewrite patterns that were installed in them before they even knew what was happening. This is also where something called analysis paralysis starts to destroy people. Parents become so focused on doing the method correctly, so worried about violating the rules of whichever parenting framework they have committed to, that they freeze in real moments with real children. They are managing a philosophy instead of actually parenting. And the child, who does not care about your framework, learns that a big enough reaction gets them whatever they want. Here's what the data and the lived experience both point toward. There is no single parenting style that works perfectly for every child in every situation. Children are not uniform. Moments are not uniform. What genuinely works is flexibility with a consistent core. It means you bring empathy to your child's emotional experience while also holding firm on expectations. It means understanding that your role is not to be their best friend right now. Your role is to raise someone capable of functioning in a world that will not always accommodate their feelings. The real failure is not gentle parenting as a philosophy. The real failure is confusing gentleness with the complete absence of limits. Your child needs to feel deeply loved and understood. They also need to know that certain things are simply not going to happen, regardless of how loudly they protest. So, if you are sitting there feeling like you have tried everything and nothing is working, the question worth asking is not which parenting style am I using. The better question is whether the warmth and the boundaries are both actually present, because you need both. every single time. The goal is not a child who never cries or never gets frustrated. The goal is a child who grows up knowing their emotions are valid and that their behavior still has to meet a standard. That combination is the whole thing. And honestly, no book, no podcast, no YouTube video, including this one, is going to hand you a perfect script for your specific kid in your specific moment. But understanding where the real breakdown happens is at least a place to start. I've linked a resource in the description that I think you'll find really helpful. Please subscribe to our channel so we can help you and your child grow together.